Hello, everybody, and welcome to Training Tuesday. And we have a slightly new format that I'm testing tonight. So I'm trying here to make sure that we can all see it. I'm using StreamYard, which I have never used before. So bear with me as I'm testing this out, because as you guys know, one of my biggest frustrations is not seeing the comments. And so I'm hoping with StreamYard I can see the comments. So I'm testing it out. So do me a favor. And if you're here live with me, say hello in the chat. I just want to get a sense of the comments. This is always so much more fun if we actually have back and forth dialogue. There's one thing I figured out. I tested this earlier and it seemed to work okay. But there does seem to be like a 10-second lag between me and it being live. Not sure why that is, or I'm not sure if that's just my test thing. But at any rate, welcome to the new format. If it goes well with StreamYard, I will invest more in it, and we will use this as a regular tool going forward so that I can see you. Okay, so I see, hi, Natalie, good to see you. I don't see who that is, though. So it tells me Facebook user, but not your name. So I don't know if there was something on here that says you have to give them permission. Oh, it's Jackie. I have another screen up, so I'm cheating. All right, we will figure this out, my friends. Okay, and it's great to see you too, Jackie. So for those of you who are joining for the first time, welcome to Training Tuesday. Our topic tonight is the number one thing that kicks your confidence. The number one thing that erodes at our confidence. And we're going to dig into that. Want to start by saying I'm Natalie Hahn. I'm CEO of Dirty Girls Consulting. I'm thrilled that you guys are part of our private Facebook group, Accelerating Leadership for Professional Women. It is a private group. It is for women only. And I created it so that we would have this just safe space of just us to be able to talk about all things related to being an ambitious modern woman. So anything related to your career, where you're going with it, challenges we have in the work environment, challenges we have at home, our personal lives, creating this life we love, and trying to balance all of it at the same time. So Training Tuesday is devoted to topics that kind of fit into all those buckets. So welcome. Happy to have you guys here. And tonight's topic is that number one thing that kicks our confidence, and it's not what you think. Because I think a lot of the times we feel like our confidence gets kicked around because other people are putting us down. Other people are eroding at something that either we felt good about or that we don't feel good about, and they're just kind of digging at us a little bit more, right? It's that reinforcement. But that's not actually the number one thing that drains us. So my question for you is, have you found yourself at any point really wanting something? Really wanting to do something, to try something, to step into something that was new or different, something you hadn't done before, and you want it. You really want it. But there's this voice in your head that's telling you, nah, you're not ready. You're not qualified. You're not smart enough. You're not good enough. You're not experienced enough. You need to do these other things before you even try that. And then we listen to that voice and we go, I have this opportunity to do this thing I've always wanted to do, but I'm not ready. I'm not going to do it. So let me know, say yes or drop a Y in the chat if you've been at that place where there's something you've really wanted. You really wanted to do it. But once you were there and you were faced with the opportunity to actually step into it, you could think of a million reasons why maybe you shouldn't. Maybe you backed away from it. And we're really good at that. We're really good at rationalizing why we can't do things, right? You've heard me talk about the gremlin before, the gremlin in our head that gives us all kinds of reasons for us not to do anything risky. It keeps us safe. That's its mantra, is to keep us safe. So if you found yourself in that position where you really wanted something and you had the opportunity, but then you didn't go for it, how did that feel? I want you to think about that for a minute. How did that feel? And then think about the time that you really wanted something and you had the opportunity and it terrified the living daylights out of you, and then you went and did it. You did it anyway. There's a rush that comes with that, right? There's this sense of giddiness that comes with, I did the thing. I did the thing. And it doesn't really matter if the thing you did, you were successful at or not. It really doesn't. It doesn't really matter what the outcome is because you pushed through and you did the thing. There's a giddiness that comes with that, even though the outcome of the thing might not have been great, might not have been what you dreamed, but you did it. And when you have that, even when the outcome is not great, when you have that, you still get that boost in your confidence because you stepped forward in fine-tuning your skills and stepping out into new skills and becoming more competent at something, and it boosted your confidence. So I can remember that 6 years ago, my daughter, who's my oldest child, turned 18. And for her 18th birthday, this brilliant idea. When the kids were teenagers, I stopped giving them gifts because they have all the things, right? What do you buy teenagers anyway, right? So I was done with that. I gave experiences. So every birthday, and we did this also for Christmas, in fact, but every birthday I would buy them an experience and they wouldn't know what it was until we were there. So it's not like I told them in advance, this is what you get. I would basically shove them in the car and drive them someplace and they would show up and boom, here's what you're doing for your birthday today. Personally, I loved it. I thought it was great. Kids told me later, they hate surprises. That was mom being selfish. It was my moment too. For Claudia, for her 18th birthday, she was right in that time where she was touring college campuses and trying to figure out where to go. One of the schools she was looking at was Florida State. And when we went and toured Florida State a couple months earlier, we learned Florida State has a circus school, an actual circus program. Like you can get a degree in being a circus performer. And we thought this was the coolest thing. And we were talking about the fact that she had to go to Florida State just for that. Like just because there's a circus school there and she should date circus performers. This would make mother happy. We just thought it was fun. So that was part of our dialogue going forward. So her birthday came. She was still in the middle of doing college tours, but we had seen Florida State. And so I had a brilliant idea for her birthday. Brilliant. I bought her trapeze flying lessons. And it just so happened that there's this beautiful park in Miami. We lived in Florida at the time. There was this beautiful park in Miami that had a trapeze set up. And so I drove her to Miami. I bought her favorite meal and we walk through the park. And as we walk up and she sees the trapeze set up and it dawns on her why we're there and what's about to happen, she looks up and she goes, oh, are you kidding me? And I'm like, I'm giddy at this point. I'm like, yes, you're going to learn how to fly trapeze. Then you can date any boy at that circus school that you want. And she goes, Mom, burst into tears. Now I'm having a horrifying moment of I am the worst mother ever. And in my head, trying to think of how am I going to make this up to her? And at the same time, I'm like, but you wanted this. You wanted to be part of the circus school. And you specifically said trapeze flying was really cool. So while in my head, I am beating myself up and trying to think of a backup gift of some kind for this poor child, she's sobbing in front of me. She's absolutely terrified. Yeah, it's so high up on that platform. I can't go up there. It's scary. I've never done this. I don't know what to do. I'm going to look stupid. I'm going to fall into the net. Like she had a whole list of reasons why she couldn't do this. And she's crying all at the same time. So we finally calm her down. And I'm still trying to think of the backup plan. But I say to her, listen, just one time. We're here. This is something you've always wanted to try. Just do it one time. And if you hate it, if it's miserable, we leave. So the guys running this, the circus performers, were very good at it. Clearly, they've run into this before. They were very good at calming her fears, and they helped her get up on the platform, and they gave her a lesson. And then, boom, she's flying off that little trapeze swing and she's looping around and she grabs the other guy's hands and he flips her around and drops her in the net. And she comes off of that and I'm waiting because I'm like, we may be leaving now. And I said, so? And she gets off the net and she's like, that was the most amazing thing ever. And she ran right back up and was doing it again because she pushed through her fear. She pushed through the fear of it's too high. I'm terrified of heights. I can't do this. I've never done it before. I'm going to look stupid. Even I'm not thin enough, I'm not athletic enough, I can't do those things. All of these excuses were going through her head. By pushing through that, she got to that place where she felt the giddiness, the joy of, I just did something. And even if I didn't do it well, who knows? Who cares? I did it. Do you guys know what I'm talking about with that? When you get to that place of accomplishment and it just doesn't matter what the outcome is. So let me know. I think I can see comments. So guys, drop comments in the chat. Let me know you're here. Let me know if these stories sound familiar, or the pattern of these stories of like getting to that place where you really want to do something and you don't, or you really want to do something and then you do, and you get that rush that comes with the accomplishment. That rush is the boost. That rush is the confidence boost. And it's interesting, right? That it is actually separate from the outcome of the action. So just recently, I've started running again. I've talked about running for, hey, Jill, I've talked about running for years. I've been a runner for years. I used to do half marathons. I've done a zillion Spartan races. Like that's always been a big part of my life. But 2 years ago, not so much. I stopped running. I wasn't running consistently, just kind of doing it in spurts here and there. And this past few months, I was like, I can't keep identifying as a runner if I don't actually run. Like that just didn't really sit well with me. But I wasn't really feeling the run motivation. So I took baby steps. I started with walking my dogs every day, making sure I took them on longer and longer walks. I started wearing my Fitbit again, right? More motivation, visual motivation for me. And a few weeks ago, I started running again. But here's the thing, even when I was walking, it's like anybody can walk, I'm fine. It's the running that scared me. Because it used to be when I was training for Spartan races and doing half marathons that, putting on my shoes and cranking out 4 or 5 miles was an easy run. But I knew that the first time I put on my running shoes, I'd be lucky to be getting a mile down. I'd atrophied that long from running. I would be lucky to get a mile down. And I was terrified of that. I was terrified of how I would feel, that I would pass out halfway through my run, that my neighbors would be watching, that they would see me run super slow. Even in my prime, honestly, I was a slow runner. Speed walkers walk faster than I run. And I've always kind of accepted that. But now that I was in this state of I'm not good enough anymore, like it was even harder to get out the door. And I had all kinds of excuses. The weather was bad. I wasn't feeling good. I didn't eat right. I didn't get up early enough. Too many people were out, right? Like I can always think of an excuse to not run. A few weeks ago, I started running again. And yeah, that first mile sucked. It was, it's still hard. I'm not up to my 5 miles yet. Let me just put it, I am not even close to my 5 miles yet, but I'm out there running because I know I can get there, right? The more that we do something, the better we get at it. The better we get at it, the more confident we get. That is the confidence competence loop, right? The more that we do one, the more we get of the other. The more we get of the other, the more that we do the one. And that's the piece I want you guys thinking about tonight. When you think about the number one thing that erodes at your self-confidence, it's what you're not doing. Every time you walk away from doing that thing, writing that blog and publishing it, getting up on stage and singing, applying for that job, asking your boss for that conversation so that you can take over that project and run it. Any of these things, right? Any time that you walk away from the thing you really want, a couple things happen. One, you're letting your fear run. Your fear is running the show. That gremlin voice in your head that's always trying to stop you from doing risky things. And if you stop doing risky things, we don't grow. That voice is running the show when we step away. That's one. It's just acknowledging it's fear. It's fear of looking stupid. It's fear of not being good enough. It's fear of not being competent. 2, when we make that choice to step away, right? When we make that choice to step away and not do the thing, we're feeding our fear. And when we feed our fear, we become out of alignment with ourselves. When we don't do the thing we really wanted to do, we suddenly do not feel good about ourselves. We are dissatisfied with ourselves, Even though we have all the excuses in the world for why this was the most rational, practical reason for not doing something, we still feel unhappy because somewhere we know we could have taken the risk. We could have tried it, but we didn't. And our gremlin voice gives us that 1-2 punch. The 1-2 punch, if you've done my imposter course or my imposter masterclass or workshop before, I've described this, right? The imposter voice, which is one of our gremlin voices, it gives you a 1-2 punch. Punch number 1 is the punch that says, you're not good enough, don't do it. Too scary. Too scary, you're going to get hurt, too much of a risk, don't do it. The sucker punch that comes afterwards is, you coward, right? We can't win. The gremlin voice on the one hand is telling us, you're not good enough, don't do it, you'll fail, everyone will laugh at you. And then it's coming up and saying, yeah, but you're a coward for not even trying. I thought this was something you wanted. I thought you were stronger than this. We don't win with those gremlin voices. So 1, fear wins. 2, the gremlin voices are hammering at you, and that just leads to internal dissatisfaction. It leads to us feeling out of alignment with who we are and who we want to be, right? The vision that we have of ourselves going forward, the vision that we have of ourselves today, who is that? We have to start taking actions in alignment with that. And 3, just your friendly reminder, you don't get competent at anything without first feeling really bad at it. Can you think of anything, and if you have, I want you to drop it in the chat. Can you think of anything that the very first time you did it, you were spectacular at it, and you've been spectacular at it ever since? You didn't have to practice. You didn't need training. You didn't need to take classes. You didn't need to study somebody else. You just were magically good at it. I think there's very few things we can say we have a super innate talent for and are just magically good at it. We learn everything. We learn how to walk. We learn how to eat. We learn how to speak. And we're pretty terrible at all those things for years sometimes before we get good at it. Anything that you want to do, write the blog, get on stage, ask for the promotion, take over the project, talk to your boss about a raise, skills that take practice. And we're going to suck at them the first couple times we do them. But remember, competence, confidence, it's a loop. Competence, confidence. When you take on the competency, when you go do the work and learn the skill, you get better at it. You get better at it. It builds your confidence. You get more confident at it. You do the skill more. So think about this loop, just because I was talking about running. So we'll just use the gym for an example. You first start lifting weights and you've never lifted weights before. So now somebody has to show you how to do it. And you go to the gym because we are starting to head back to gyms, at least in Massachusetts, things are opening up. But you go to the gym and you feel self-conscious because you're not a weightlifter and you're learning how to use these things. And you know everybody's staring at you for your, oh, my lights just went out. You know that everybody's staring at you for your really low weight, right? And so you feel self-conscious. But the more that you push, if you push through that, the more that you go to the gym, the more confident you feel. And then you start lifting heavier weights. And then as you start lifting heavier weights, you start getting a boost in confidence. As your confidence is boosted, you go to the gym more. You start telling your friends about it. You start teaching them how to use weights. And your confidence boosts even more. It's a cycle. The more we practice competence, the more we gain confidence. The more we gain confidence, the more we practice competence. It's a very positive loop. So it is a matter of pushing past the fear in the first place. Pardon me, I'm going to turn my light on here. Pushing past the fear in the first place so that you can get to that point. Let's see if this works. Pushing past the fear in the first place. So you get to the point where you're actually developing the competence. And as you develop the competence, you work on your confidence. That's the loop. So how do you do this? How do you break through the fear? Right? Because that's your first and only blocker is your fear. And it's here. It's here. And this is how you do it. This is your first step. Know why. Know why that thing you want to do, why is it important to you? Why does it matter to you, because how it matters to anyone else was really irrelevant. We're talking about something that you want for yourself, for your career, for your family, for your life, for you personally, whatever it is that you want to go after that you've stopped, you haven't taken the opportunity to do yet. Why is it important to you? Why does this idea keep coming back in your head? So if I take my example of running, why is it important to me? A zillion reasons why. Part of it is because part of my identity for the past decade or more than a decade has been as a runner. It's been what I do to de-stress. It's part of my meditation practice. It makes me feel good. And at the same time, I feel like I'm taking care of my body. I'm in good physical shape. I have great energy. I feel good. Like there's all kinds of benefits to this. The main thing, though, was it was part of how I described myself. It's part of how I identified with myself. So when I wasn't running, I was out of alignment with my why. My why being, I want to be somebody who is physically active and has energy and takes care of herself and can do all the things she wants to do, physically, mentally, and emotionally. When I tied it back to why this was important to me, to my mental well-being, to my physical well-being, and to how I describe myself, how I want to see myself, then I'm anchored back into why this is important, why this keeps coming up in my head, why for months I'd been saying to myself, I really should run again. It's not because I'm just beating myself up. I could have dropped running and taken up Zumba or some other sport, right? I didn't. I kept going back to running because that's the activity that's meaningful for me. So one is get to your why. Two is identify clearly what's at risk. Face your fear. Tell me why it is so scary to put yourself out there. What's at risk if you do the thing and it doesn't work? So for those of you who know my story, you know that one of the things that I did earlier in my career was I put myself out there in front of a boss to say, I want this promotion. Like I pushed past my fear of asking for something that was a kind of a scary thing to ask, because part of us always feels like, well, they should just give me the promotion. I'm clearly qualified. I should get this. But I wasn't getting it. And I wanted to know why. So I set up a meeting with my boss to say, I set up a lunch meeting. I'm only shaking my head because I got the bad news early and then I wasn't hungry for my lunch. And the bad news was I wasn't getting the promotion. And the reason why was because he didn't think I was ready. Now, in this scenario, I had to push through my fear of asking my boss to lunch, of making it clear that I wanted to talk about a promotion, and my fear that I would get the answer that I got, which was, you're not getting it and you're not ready. But I pushed past it because it was important to me for my why. I wanted to be a person on this career path. I wanted my career to go this way, so I wanted to know. And even though I didn't get the answer I wanted, I got huge benefits out of that meeting. Because what I learned was that, well, I learned two things. I learned that there was something more I needed to do. There was something more I needed to do to be able to prove myself to the next level. And two, I didn't get very good feedback, right? For a boss to simply tell you, I just don't think you're ready, it doesn't give you a whole lot to work with. And so without that great feedback, I had to go find out on my own, like what were going to be the next things I was going to do. What were going to be the next things I had to learn, the next skills, the next competencies I had to build in order to get to my next step in my career. So I got a ton out of taking that risk, even though it wasn't the answer that I wanted. And going through the process of asking the question, even though the answer was deflating because I wasn't getting the promotion, it also helped my confidence because I thought, okay, but now I know there's something else I need to do to build my competence to get to the next level of confidence. So it put me in that loop of realizing I have to build my competence to get more confidence, to get more competence, and to keep going. So one is know the why, and two is face the fear. What was I really afraid of? What was the worst he was going to say? The worst he was going to say was what he said, you're not getting the promotion, you're not ready. Which meant the worst that was going to happen was I was going to be exactly where I was. Nothing was changing. That was the worst. But my fear of, oh my God, I'll melt, right? I will die of humiliation. I will, all these things or the hyperbole that we put in our head, right? It's the emotional piece that holds us back. And yeah, it hurt. It was awful, actually. I was very unhappy, but it also gave me something to work with. Now, that's 2, right? 2 is face the fear. 3, and 3 is a imagination exercise, which is, if this is what you really want, if this is the thing that you want and your fear is holding you back, imagine you already have it. Literally close your eyes and take 10 minutes to fully imagine what is your life like when you already have the thing. I could already fully visualize what I was going to be like, what my future was going to be like, what my career was going to look like when I got that next level promotion. I knew that. That's why I wanted it so badly. I had a very clear picture of where this was putting me in my career. When you take time to visualize the thing that you want, what will it look like when you publish that blog? How will your life be different when you do get that promotion? When you do step on that stage and play that musical instrument? When you do take on that project and leave it? What will be different for you and why? Visualize that. Get really clearly connected to that vision, because that vision is tied with your why. And that gives you an image to hold on to, because that's what you're trying to build. That is what you're trying to get to. Now, what do you need to practice to get you where you need to go? Competence, confidence. So many times we say, I'm not going to do that thing because I'm not competent at it yet. Then you're never going to get competent at it, because you're never going to do the thing. You have to practice, and you have to be bad at it first in order to get good at it later. And by being bad at it first and getting good at it later, you build your confidence. So while other people's opinions and commentary and critique certainly erode, right? They certainly erode at our confidence, while our lack of skill erodes at our confidence. What actually gives us the biggest hit is that when we ourselves don't live up to the vision that we have for ourselves, when we don't take that risk, nothing erodes at our sense of confidence and satisfaction with ourselves than when we let ourselves down. Because we're the only ones who do that. We are the only ones who can hit our sense of self that deeply, that we are letting ourselves down. So I'm going to ask you to practice the confidence-competence loop. If there's something out there that you really want, that you really want to achieve, that you really want to have that tick on your resume, that you really want to have this thing in your life, then I'm going to ask you to go do it and not worry about whether you suck at it first, because you're going to if it's the first time you're doing it. And nobody is judging you nearly as harshly as you are judging yourself. But you don't get good at it if you don't practice. And without practice, you don't get competent. And without competent, you don't get confidence. And on it goes. So welcome to the competence-confidence loop. This is the thing to look out for when you're working on your self-confidence. What are the skills and the competencies you need to get you to that vision of where you want to go in your life? Push through the fear by facing it, by naming it. Name what that fear is. I'm afraid my neighbors will laugh at me. That was my fear for running. Afraid my neighbors will laugh at me. I'm afraid the people walking their dogs will walk faster than I run, and I'm going to look stupid. Yeah, and they still might, because I'm still really slow. But it's more important to me to be a runner than it is to worry about whether my neighbors can run faster than me. But you have to work through it. Face the fear and work through that. So I hope this was helpful tonight and interesting. Let me know in the chat if you have any questions or comments. You guys have been very quiet tonight, and I'm assuming that means I can't see the chat thing. I mean, I can see it, but I'm assuming there are no comments, which is why I'm asking. So let me know your comments if you have any. Let me know any questions if you have any about this competence-confidence loop. But I'd love to hear all of you sometime this week tell me what you've done, what you've stepped out into and done differently, taken that step towards that vision that you have of yourself. And if you'd like to talk about it one-on-one, then I would love to invite you guys to a 15-minute free Free 15-minute, I call it a dirty girl mini dig conversation. It's a mini dig because it's 15 minutes and it's free and it's simply focused on you. We can focus on the fear. We can focus on the one thing you want to accomplish. We can focus on getting you one step closer to your goal, to that thing that you really want in your life. That would be my focus. So drop the word dig in the comments. If you would like to schedule that 15 minutes, you can either DM me directly or drop the word dig in the comments and I'll reach out to you and we'll schedule free 15 minutes, no sales conversation. It is literally 15 minutes focused on you moving forward. Because for this group, you guys are my Facebook group. You're my private group here. We are here to help and support each other. So this is one thing I can do. If it helps you get that much closer to your goal, I'm happy and you're in action, which is the goal of all of this. So drop dig in the chat. And until next Tuesday, you guys have a fabulous night. Thanks for joining me tonight.